Hello, welcome to Have a Go, and I'm Alan. Today we're going to make a start on the pattern for the column front for the shaper, which needs 3 pieces, two of which are identical. Cut a strip off here, 28.5 something across, which will make up the 2 identical bits. I've got a new blade that cuts like butter. The next piece is 2 1/16 of an imperial across, 52.3875. Right, the short pieces are to be 10 1/4 inferials. I'm measuring from the opposite end so as I don't have to worry about the width of the saw blade buggering me up. And this piece is to be 8 inferials. I'm going to use this stuff to make the front that it talks about here. Again, I don't want to make a huge mess on the bench. Right, so this will go approximately like this. With some scoops cut out there. This will be the approximate layout. I did some work off camera. It's such a little thing I didn't actually bother filming it. So let's take these weights off and see what I did. Weights being the sides. I had the plastic so that the glue wouldn't stick to the flat bit I had on top. I'm going to have to scrape this down a bit, I think. That is where the cutout will finish. And we'll go into a curve there. The easy way of doing this would be the bandsaw, I think. Dang it! I was afraid that would happen. Of course, that still leaves me with the issue of how to get this out. That works. Okay, that's a bit less round than I'd like, but that's what God invented wood filler for. This is roughly how it will go together. These 2 bits need to be 1 inferior apart. So I'll put this section of 1 inch cold rolled steel in between them as a spacer. And the total distance should be 3 1/4 inferior. Pretty much. Maybe a freckle over, but that's better than being too small. These F-clamps were a good buy. Just need a spacer initially to keep this roughly centered between them, because otherwise the clamps do not play nice. Right, I want this top part roughly centered. Then I'll tighten down the G-clamp. I need some spacers that are deep enough to allow for the bottom of the clamp, so the bottom of this can sit flush when I drill it. Right, I got 2 holes in, which should be enough to keep it aligned. I'm going to be mightily annoyed if this does not suffice to keep them aligned. Just need to make these through holes now. The drill press didn't quite reach with a short little 2mm bit. So this needs to go through this side. Need to put some more holes down because it isn't enough to keep it sturdy. And so if those are on this side, these will be on this side. Right, the position of this is reasonably locked in, so I don't need the G-clamp to hold it now. There's a different number of holes on each side, which should help me keep the left and right-handedness of these correct when I put it together. I used the drill press because freehanding it, I'm pretty sure, is why the sides is why the split pattern on the sides was such a bit of a pig to do, because they're going at different angles, not straight down. Just put some super glue around these nails so I don't trust just the friction to hold them. So all that's holding them at the moment is the head of the nails, since these are 1.6mm diameter nominally and the holes I drilled are 2mm. In hindsight, yes, I could have drilled them to 1.5mm and then forced them, but I didn't think of that. Just remembered I'm going to need a little bit of draft. Let's put a little bit of a fillet down here. A blind man would be happy to see it. Doesn't happen with the 3D printed patterns, but with these wooden ones, the first coat or two of shellac, the wood seems to absolutely drink it. The amount of time it takes for shellac to dry is basically the amount of time it takes for a really thin layer of methylated spirits to evaporate, meaning it does not take long. I'll be using the same flask I used for the sides, except that I've modified it to put a U-bit in here so that this will fit in here without getting too close to the wood itself. I can't wait till I'm casting smaller things. Simply so I don't have to pick up heavy flasks. That was easy. It's still ferociously hot, but it's looking very usable. Got some new wire brushes. One brass, one nylon and one stainless steel. I'm biased, but I think this came out better than Maker Size's column front. Because I don't have stuff coming out here that I'm going to have to cut off like he did. Because I didn't do lost foam. I will admit I don't do lost foam. A good part of that is because I don't like the surface finish. So I don't want my cast part to have the finish of expanded polystyrene.